Hello, everybody, and thank you for dropping into this edition of Walking the Ropes. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Blake. We have an awesome show for you tonight.
Awesome.
We will.
Hold on. Awesome. Awesome. Is that literally the word we're using? I'm in a take no
Okay.
shit
Well,
attitude right now.
all honesty, I'm literally just reading my script.
Okay, continue.
The only word I was actually able to self-correct was I didn't say today.
That's fair. That's fair.
We'll be covering the news. I guess over the last couple days was it?
Yeah, 24 hours. We, ju- we,
24
ju- we
hours.
just did the show yesterday, so.
Yeah, 24 hours. As well as SmackDown.
Yeah.
The
We'll.
Twitter polls are going to be a little inaccurate for tonight because it's only been up for half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, but we'll go over what we have when we get there. But with all that being said, as always, if you're new to Walking the Ropes, if you've been watching for a while, absolutely everything is available through our link tree, which is available always in our descriptions and bios and all that good stuff. Um, yeah, links to all of our stuff. It's late. We just went through a SmackDown, which we'll talk about in a second. I'm all out of sorts here. Social media, Twitch where we go live, our YouTube for VODs, all the podcasting platforms and ways to support us like Redbubble and our tipping page are all through our link tree. There we go. Got it out. We're all good now. And we'll hop into it. We're gonna hop into news first. Any kind of news we might have. I know my very first thing, it was the first thing I saw right after we were done our podcast yesterday. EC3 has reportedly apparently signed an official contract now with Ring of Honor.
Yes, I saw that as well.
So, I mean, good to him. He did some good stuff with Impact, hopped to NXT, he did some decent stuff in NXT. I can't even say his NXT run was really bad. He did some decent stuff, and then he hit the main roster, and it was a joke, sadly. So nice to see that he's found a home for the time being with Ring of Honor.
Yeah, exactly.
And wish him absolutely all the success going down the line. What do you got?
Riddle revealed the locker room reaction to Miz cashing in. Apparently, everyone or most people were shocked at the fact that he had cashed in and won. Nothing really more than that. They were just kind of shocked. Nobody really saw it coming, which is kind of nice that nobody really actually saw something coming inside the company as well.
Yeah, that's neat to know. That's neat. I mean, I know a lot of the time the cash-ins are like last minute. Like Rollins. Rollins was literally like the hour before. They just told him like be ready because like they still weren't sure about him cashing in at Mania and that.
Yeah.
Um, so
Or
obviously it
do it and whatever. Yeah.
yeah, like coming across as a surprise. The thing is like even to us, it was like, oh wow, he finally did do it. But at the same time, they set it up almost so he couldn't miss.
Yeah.
So it's interesting though to hear that.
For sure. For sure.
Lacey Evans officially confirms her pregnancy. Lays it all out. Not storyline. It was real. So I mean, just wishing her all the best going forward. Hope the pregnancy goes smoothly and congratulations.
Yeah,
Are
absolutely. Hope it goes smoothly.
Yep. You got more?
Uh, in 2008, the Elimination Chamber, the Undertaker, he goes through the door. Apparently, that was not supposed to happen.
Yeah, so I had actually just read a thing earlier. I'm not sure who the ref was that was talking about it. I didn't grab the name. It's not even in my thing here.
I know Jimmy Corderas was involved.
He was involved, but it was a different ref who
Yeah.
just recently did this interview. I read it earlier. Apparently he got absolutely like chewed out by John Laurinaitis for it, even though him and Corderas were in the chamber.
Yeah,
Which I
exactly.
don't remember two refs being in the chamber. I'm really confused there. I'm gonna have to go back. But it says that they were both in the chamber, and I'm like, I don't remember two refs. Like, was a ref knocked out in that match and they subbed somebody in, or?
Hmm.
But anyways, apparently,
Possibly.
apparently Laurinaitis chewed them out, even though they were in the chamber.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
that just doesn't seem right.
AEW Revolution sold out in minutes. They put the tickets up. I believe it was either yesterday or today. And tickets were gone in a matter of minutes. I mean, we're not talking 20, 30,000 seats, obviously,
Oh,
thinking about it. But even still in this era, even if it was 1,500 seats, like, matter of minutes, that's really cool. And it just keeps going to show, like I said, we're starved for this entertainment. And the second that they're like, hey, you're a go for, as many people in a place that you want, could be this time next year before we get that. But the
yeah.
second they're like, you're good to go, take the
Exactly.
chances. Take the chances. You're gonna fill stadiums.
For
Like
sure.
you could probably every new area of like, especially the States, every new area of the country you go, run the biggest venue you can. And if you're worried about running like a stadium, run the biggest arena in the area. If there's a 30,000 seat arena, run it.
If only they had like a stadium that the owner of the company owned
Yeah,
that they could use.
that'd be really
Like,
smart. If only the Khan family. Huh.
yeah, but what are the odds of that?
Yeah, moving on. You got any more news?
I unfortunately do not. I kind of forgot to look for news, so I only had the amount of time we had between the shows.
I
So
can tell you right now, as somebody who took time to look for the news, there wasn't much.
okay, well,
So, I guess we get to move on here to the results of SmackDown. Let's try and be as unbiased going through the review as possible. And then when we get to our segments, that is where we can start showing our bias. But let's try and be
fine.
as unbiased going through the results as possible. Um, we have Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Paul Heyman opening the show, making their way out to the ring. As they're on the way to the ring, we literally have enough time from when they start walking down the ramp to getting in the ring to recap the chamber match from Sunday.
Yep.
So Reigns is giving a promo about, how it was almost perfect and that he smashed Daniel Bryan and shit like that. And then he turns around and totally goes the opposite way of the promos from the past few weeks of telling Edge like he needs him and this and that, to telling Edge to back out of the match, and that he Roman cares about him. He's got a family, he's got kids and a wife, and that he's worried about him. Um,
Yeah.
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 And then Daniel Bryan comes out. Uh, you know, talks about what happened at the chamber, and
Yeah.
basically the too long don't read TLDR of this is Bryan challenges Reigns to a title match at Fastlane. And then for some reason, Jey Uso takes the mic instead of Reigns responding, and he tells him that
Paul.
yeah, and he tells him that he lost Sunday and that he's at the back of the line. Oos. Um,
And if he wants to get to the front of the line, he would have to go through Jay.
because
Some
Jay is at the front of the line. Anyways, unbiased. And then Jey Uso attacked Daniel Bryan, literally hit him once, from what I remember. I mean, it was,
I think there was the super kick and then like a punch and then dumped outside
and
and
then
then
he
over the barricade.
tossed him over the barricade, and apparently Daniel Bryan was dead after that.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and then we get Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville backstage talking. Edge comes in and asks what's going on about the uh, Daniel Bryan Roman Reigns match, and that it was supposed to be Edge and Bryan versus Reigns and Jey Uso at Fastlane.
That's the
And
first I'm hearing of this.
yeah, so but anyways, we get that,
And,
and
then we get a tag team match.
well, hold on, before we get to that,
Right.
we have uh Roman Reigns and Jey Uso talking backstage. Uso apologizes, and Reigns says, "Don't apologize, just get the job done." And then we get a little more of Edge, Pearson, Deville finishing
There
up
you
that whole segment, saying that it's confirmed if Bryan wins the main event tonight against Jey Uso, he gets the match at Fastlane.
Yeah,
And then we head into this.
this tag match. So it's Ray and Dominic Mysterio versus Otis and Chad Gable. This honestly is so what they did the first time last week, but gave it 10 minutes, I
Yeah,
think.
actually gave it a match instead of a screwy finish, and then the heel turn. They actually gave it a full match,
But like at the same
but it was the
time,
same thing,
it also wasn't even really a match. Like Otis and Gable really got the majority of the offense.
which is
The
interesting.
Yeah, like the Mysterios hit their double 619. But like as soon as Otis came in the ring, that was it.
Yep.
Like so uh he just seems to hit this big splash for the win
Yeah.
every time now.
Yeah. He Otis hit the big splash on Ray, for the win. That was about it.
There's
Um.
gonna be a name for it, but right now it's just they go, it's a big splash.
Yeah, and also to mention, prior to the start of the match, Otis and Gable were showing footage of what happened last week. I just
Yeah.
remembered that. um, but yeah, so that's that match. Then we have Apollo Crews come out, and he starts cutting a promo, talking about his ancestry, talking about his Nigerian royalty and whatnot, and made a comment about like I what did he say? Was it like a great grandfather or something like that?
Something like that had owned countries or
He
whatever they
he was
call
some kind of leader. He was a king or something,
it.
and
Yeah.
he makes a comment about, if Big E would have disrespected him, he would have said it like this, and he slips into an accent, which I'm not gonna say much about.
Well,
Um,
before he slips into the accent, actually, he points to his scarf that he's wearing and says, these three colors represent what I'm all about. The scarf is green and white.
yeah, from what I could tell, it was two colors. He listed off the three things. I didn't even write it down. I was so
Wealth, power, and dominance.
Cool. Okay. And yeah, then he slips into an accent, which like I said, I'm not gonna touch on beyond that, and basically says what his great grandfather or whatever would have said, about Biggie. Shinsuke
Yeah.
comes out, and before much of anything happens, Apollo attacks Shinsuke like right to the outside. He grabs the steps, goes to throw them at Shinsuke, and the ref stops him, and we head to commercial. We come back, we get the match. I don't know if you have any notes on it. No? Okay.
Really no. Oh, the ending where Apollo holds the scarf
Okay,
and
well,
Shinsuke. Yeah, I'll
yeah.
let you go from there then.
Yeah, I honestly just Apollo Crews picks up the win. Like if you've got something specific, like you can mention it.
So I'm annoyed that he just grabbed the scarf, pulled Shinsuke into it, and then hits the slam, as Cole put it, and got the win.
Okay. Um we get Reigns and Heyman backstage, and Heyman informs Reigns that if Bryan wins against Jay, he gets the title match, and Reigns says, or no, does
Paul,
Paul, yeah, if he wins. So it was like, okay. And then out of the blue, we have Liv Morgan against Tamina, with obviously Ruby Riott and Natalia at ringside in their respective corners. They kind of just they go. I mean, it's decent. But it's nothing we haven't seen in previous weeks between these two teams already.
yeah,
And
except for it literally didn't involve the regular finish.
yeah, there's no Billy Kay,
Yeah,
none at
at
all.
all. Not even
Um,
mentioned on commentary.
so Tamina picks up the win with what I can only say is like a black hole slam, basically.
Yeah, looked
I
like it.
that's all I can say there.
Or a sidewalk slam, I guess.
Uh, trying to remember. I think that's just from the side down, isn't it? That's what
Maybe.
Kane used to do. Irregardless, it's some kind of slam, and she picks up the win with it.
Yeah.
And then we have Bianca Belair coming backstage, coming towards the ring to announce her WrestleMania opponent. And when we come back from commercial, Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville are in the ring. They welcome Belair. And I called this from start to finish. You can't say I didn't. I called
Well,
it before the show. I called it before the segment, during the segment. It was the same call every time, and I got it right.
we get video package for Asuka, and oh wow, are we really attempted to her to pick Asuka? We know that's the choice. Yep. Then we
Yeah,
get the video
she's
package.
been on Raw every week, making Asuka know that she is an option, just like Io Shirai, right?
Oh well, then we get the video package for oh,
Sasha
Sasha
Banks,
Banks.
Sasha Banks. Okay,
And then Reginald comes out with entrance music, and you and I were video calling at the time. We looked at each other and went, "Whose music is that?"
who the fuck is coming out right now? Oh, it's Reginald. He has music and a video board package now. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he's done his thing he's done the past few weeks. He praised uh he praised Sasha. He threw a little praise to Belair.
But says she's not as good as Bang.
Yeah. And then Sasha comes out, tells Reginald, like, I told you not to speak for me. And
I wonder who the choice is.
she basically, her promo was basically challenging Belair, and then she's like, make your pick.
Yeah. And then Belair responds and fucks up her gimmick by saying she is the BEST of WWE.
I,
I
I,
was like,
I don't know. Is that something she's said in the past? Just
normally
because
she
of
goes, she's the EST of
yeah,
WWE.
yeah. But she was running through her stuff, and so when she got the best, I mean,
But it just was weird that she did it like that because her gimmick has been she's the EST. And for that one, she was all of a sudden the BEST.
I don't know. I don't know.
And so it's just me being nitpicky, but
Yeah, I've not heard her say it. So if it had been like a regular thing she was saying to go along with it, like she's the EST, like strongest, fastest, whatever, and then to say best that way, but I haven't heard her say it that way. Maybe it was an
no,
NXT thing and I missed it. I don't know.
maybe. But
Um,
that's the first time she's ever spelt one of the ones out and then not said EST of WWE.
yeah, and so she points at the sign, the pyro goes off, which apparently is the thing now that signals the match is official. If there's pyro, a match is official.
Well, in fairness, how did Taker select Batista?
Face to face. Yeah, yeah, but it wasn't like
Like,
okay. Um,
it wasn't like they said I shoot. Like, it's not like it's not the first time they've done that. It's just on a grand stage now, and it's like,
well, I just like how with Edge, he
yeah,
speared Reigns and he pointed out the side and it was like, well, it's official because the pyro went off. I want every match.
exactly.
I want every match to be confirmed by pyro going off. If it's not, what's the fucking point? But anyways,
After the contract signings, they put the pen down. It explodes in pyro.
I'm telling you, they hired Michael Bay to produce the WWE. But they end up standing there smiling and laughing, which I didn't understand. Bellair's pointing at the sign, Sasha's dancing. It was weird. Anyways,
They're friends. They're best friends. This is going to be the.
they are
Never mind.
BEST
I'm
friends.
no opinions. No opinions. Can't. No, I'm done. I'm
Okay.
done.
We get Corbin backstage. Sami Zayn's crew comes in, and filming him. He's freaking out. They're so close. Sami comes in, starts asking him questions. Makes a point like they'd be a good tag team. They could go for the titles. Corbin
Yeah,
tells him no.
yeah. And Corbin starts to yell at the cameraman, and all of a sudden he gets in one of the one's face.
Who is it?
Oh well, for those who can't tell, you don't know, but you could see a ginger goatee, and if you know, you know that was Blake Christian.
Formerly of Impact Wrestling, for anybody who might not honestly be familiar with Blake Christian. He is part of the largest class recruitment for the Performance Center.
Yes, this was very neat for me. I just quickly noticed it. I asked you if you had saw it, and you didn't, and I was like, "Okay, that's something I gotta keep an eye out for," and we were later able to confirm it.
Yeah, so
Very cool to see him finally. Like, I know he didn't actually, like,
yeah, he didn't
it's
actually
not
do
he
anything. Like
didn't
he,
debut, but
yeah,
he did.
well, it's like going back and seeing like MJF as one of Samoa Joe's bodyguards.
It's
You know,
exactly now in the future, whenever he gets a shot, they'll be like, "Well, did you see who was Sammy's conspiracy camera crew?" Like,
yeah, WWE.com put stuff out about like these people did this beforehand. That's like I think it was CM Punk was one of the like mobsters for like a Cena
yes.
entrance or something. What was
Whoa,
that, Mania 22?
I wanna say it was, Mania 22, the one where, like, Ray came out in the big
Yeah,
headdress.
Mania 22.
Yeah. Well, and then, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, and I believe Charlotte for Triple H, right?
Yes. Yes. For Triple H at
Yeah,
Mania 30. Mania 30.
2 out of the 3 or 2 out of the 3? No, sorry. 1 of those members would be in the main event of WrestleMania a few years later.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, very true. 5 years later,
5 years.
Mania
There we go.
35. Yeah.
Sorry to go off on a tangent, but it was a bit easy.
Yeah. But we move on here. Street Profits versus Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn. We have the Dirty Dogs, the tag champs, Rude and Ziggler watching. Um,
Every tag match is important for them because every single one of them could be a tag contender.
yeah. Have they defended the
I didn't
titles
say
yet
any when did they win them?
against the Street Profits? And then Montez Ford was injured. So have they defended them since?
No.
Okay, so the
Has
matches.
the tag titles been defended since then
I don't think
on
so.
any brand?
The Raw ones have. I think they were defended on Raw at some point. I want to say it was the Lucha House Party who got the shot and they lost, and then they got the tornado tag like 2 weeks later. I don't know.
I
Um.
wanna call Cat, but I'm not sure.
Uh. So Zayn's camera crew kind of keeps getting in the way of Corbin. Corbin's getting pissed off, and at one point he shoves them out of the way.
Yep.
Uh.
When he's doing that, like, I don't know what they call it, he slides out from the post to
And,
over,
yeah,
and they were kinda in his way. He's like, "What the hell are you
and
doing?"
he
And then he
got
gets in the
taken out
ring.
there. Yeah.
I don't think that was where he got taken out just yet.
Yeah. He got up on the apron from there because he had lost some
Oh.
momentum and he got hit into the
Oh,
barricade.
Corbin.
Yeah,
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 Corbin was taken from there, yeah.
yeah. But he ends up getting pissed off and shoving them
Ye
on the ramp and
Well, specifically, the one cameraman is the one that has been there, the one holding the bigger one. Blake Christian, you did tell me his real name for the
Christian
signing.
Hubble.
Christian Hubble. So he is very evidently the reason why he was involved is because Corbin has specifically got physical with that cameraman,
Yeah, so
pushed him physically out of the way there. So they wanted to make sure it was somebody who would be able to face safely fall on the. I guess it's concrete right there or steel right there.
I think that was on the steel end of the ramp,
Yeah,
I want to
so they
say.
wanted to make sure it was somebody who could take that bump pretty safely and just not some random camera guy, so it was absolutely a good way to do it, for
Yeah.
sure.
But we end up having is it Montez Ford who flies over the top onto him?
Yeah, because Dawkins is the bigger one.
Yeah, and so he flies over as Zayn is yelling. Zayn gets taken out. Ford hits the big frog splash for the win on Zayn. Um,
Yeah.
we get a backstage interview with Daniel Bryan. You got notes on this one?
He says his chances of beating Roman or for the title are better than Edge's. Doesn't know if Edge has what it takes to beat Roman. And then we get Edge coming in asking, like, so what? Can Bryan beat Roman? And Bryan's like, well, I don't know about that. Or can
It,
yeah.
if
He thinks he can.
Yeah, he basically goes, so I can't beat Roman and you can, and so if you win the title, does that mean I can beat you?
Yeah.
And
And
Bryan's like, I'll keep that to myself.
yeah. And then we get Seth Rollins' entrance.
Yep. Yep. We do.
I don't
Um,
no, we're not doing opinions on this point. We're just moving on.
yeah. He comes out. He starts giving his promo. Uh,
I am really sorry. Just this
he
was
lost me. He lost all my interest.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Cesaro came out.
and yeah, comes out, rips his shirt off as he's coming down. Um, and Rollins just kind of starts picking away at him,
Yeah.
like
The best
verbally.
part of this is basically after Rollins gets to his point of the promo, he goes, "Embrace the vision," and Cesaro goes, "Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna give you the swing." For a long time,
Gives him a
right up until
really long swing.
like to the point where Rollins' jacket like flew off. Everything. It was really good. I loved that specifically the swing.
Yeah.
That was all I really enjoyed
Yeah,
with
and then
that.
he uppercuts Rollins, walks out. Daniel Bryan comes out, and we get Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso.
Because if you looked at the time, we had less than 15 minutes to get this match under.
Yep. You got notes on the match itself. Um,
In the middle of it, we got a recap of Raw.
yep. Yep, we did. Daniel Bryan's knee is getting targeted. It's nice to see that we've got some continuity there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they play it out, and then they're on the outside, and they both get counted out. So that way, Bryan didn't win and won't get the shot, I guess.
Yep.
They get back in the ring. Reigns attacks Bryan. Bryan tries to get him in the label lock, yes lock. Jay super kicks him. Reigns spears Bryan, locks in the guillotine, and we close the show with no sign of Edge coming to save him or anything.
Yep.
That was SmackDown. Like 100% up front and center. That was Friday Night SmackDown.
Um. Oh,
What
we
up?
ran that. That's less than a half hour. We did that.
Yeah, yeah, cause that's how great SmackDown was.
I Do you want to do our Twitter poll before we do our results?
Well, we'll pull our ratings up. So obviously Twitter poll is uh still up. If you want to vote in our Twitter poll, you
But
can
it's
do
as of
so.
right now.
Yeah, you can do so by going to @WalkingTheRopes on Twitter. As of right now, it is
Yeah, sorry, I
split.
didn't mean to cut you off there.
It is split 50-50 between good show and waste of time. Nobody's sitting on the fence here. People are pretty certain so far with how they feel about this show. But obviously there's time left, so voice your opinion. Go vote. Tell us your favorite and least favorite parts in the comments of that post. Um, but we'll get to our rating now. Um, what did you give SmackDown, Blake?
I gave it a 0.25.
You gave it a 0.25. That is the absolute lowest score given to any show yet. The previous was a 1. The previous lowest score
Held
was a
by
1. Held by SmackDown. Uh 2 weeks ago from both of us. That was the absolute lowest score at that time. And we have officially hit under a 1. Hell, you didn't even give it a 0.5. You gave it a 0.25. I gave it
Yeah,
I gave it a 0.5. It
fair.
was, in my opinion and your opinion, that fucking bad.
It was a total waste of time. We could have not had this show and been totally fine. Oh, but we got Bianca Belair making her match. We knew that was the match.
We got whatever the bullshit was with Reigns and Bryan and I Reigns' opening promo. Reigns' opening promo. I don't want to go off here like a super big amount, but
I
he's
kind
literally
of want
spent
to, but I'm not gonna.
he spent the last 2 weeks like Edge, like I'm your ticket to the main event. I am the main event. You're not in the main event unless you're against me. You need me. He flipped out because he wanted Edge to pick him so badly. And now that Edge has declared it, he's, Edge, maybe you should back out. You know, I care about you. You got a wife and kids. You got a family. I care about you. I don't want to see you get hurt. Um, okay.
It's okay. I'm gonna quickly compare this to what happened on AEW tonight or this week.
Go ahead.
You had mentioned that Kenny Omega's bit you did not like.
Correct.
The reasoning being was it did not in any way match John Moxley's intensity.
Yeah, Mox had intensity, and Omega's, like I said, I don't mind the jokiness that has been Omega's character, but it just felt with what had happened earlier in the night, it just felt too jokey and too weird, especially
For
going
sure.
into something like a exploding barbed wire death match. Just to give everybody listening a recap, just in case.
For sure. In contrast to that, we were able to make I was able to make a silver lining and a theory as to why Omega did what he did.
Yeah,
Like he
no,
was there. He was there. He had no TVs there, so he didn't see what Moxley said.
yeah, he
That
he
is a
was working
full
on this.
possibility.
He was working on this extermination chamber all night. That
Yeah,
he, cause it wasn't even a. I don't even think it was like a Marvez caught them earlier in the day. It was Marvez is
no,
with Omega right now.
yeah, he found him somewhere near Daly's place or
Yeah,
something like that.
Marvez is
So
just running around the streets trying to find Kenny
exactly.
Omega.
So, but in comparison to this, there was absolutely no intensity on either side. One, when we saw Edge, and I hate to say it, he was bitching.
Yeah, he was like for anybody watching and listening, Edge is probably my number one favorite of all time. My all-time
Yes,
wrestlers, we have stated that, that top 10 is a very very packed list, and Edge for many reasons probably sits at my number 1. But
yes,
literally all he did in his promo bits tonight was bitch.
yeah.
Bitch and whine. And I was like, "Ew, this is Edge. This is a rated R superstar. Why?"
What did you do when Cena took what you wanted? You went out to Cena and got in his face.
Hell, you
You
went to Cena's childhood home and smacked the taste out of his father's mouth.
Exactly. Where is a fraction of this intensity? I'm not saying you have to go and demolish Daniel Bryan, but instead of going to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, how about we go and talk to Daniel Bryan and be like, hey, if you wanted to try to step over me, maybe you should try to beat me first.
Like, here's the thing. We got that Edge 2 weeks ago, I want to say it, on Raw, ripping the Miz apart. We got
Yes.
that Edge to Roman Reigns.
We got it on Elimination Chamber when he speared him and put his hands behind his back and said
Like,
whatever he said.
that was the ultimate opportunist. That was the rated R superstar Edge. That is
Yeah.
who he is supposed to be. And tonight just felt wrong.
It felt like what he was doing when he was running with Vicky, where he would just run to the management to be like, they can't do this.
And see, the
Like
thing is, he's
when
not a
it was.
heel. He's not a
Yeah,
heel. So even if it could have made sense. He's not a heel. It doesn't make sense.
That's what I mean. Like, when he did that with Vicky, there was a way for it to make sense. Right now, he's supposed to be the sympathetic baby face. Well, I guess not sympathetic, but the almighty baby face coming in to save us from the dastardly heel Roman Reigns. And I was laughing.
Yep.
This is your set in stone world title match, and you give us that.
Yep. Well, why don't we run through the rest of our things here, and we can talk about the bad of the night when we come around to the worst of the night.
Okay.
Just to get away from our ratings here.
I apologize. I don't mean to rant. Maybe
No.
we should.
It's
Maybe
worth it.
we should hit the sound here for a second.
It's coming. It's coming.
I thought so.
Let's run through these. Your match of the night.
Do you want to hit the noise for me?
Do you have a match of the night?
No.
Okay. So you don't have a match of the night. Okay, just so I grabbed one. I gave it to the Mysterios versus Gable and Otis. They had an okay showing. Okay. Yeah. Just we'll move on here. Segment of the night. You got a segment of the night? Me neither. Okay. Moving on. We're literally blowing through these. Holy shit. Performer of the night. Who you got?
Blake Christian.
Okay.
Or I guess Christian Hubble, to be nice to WWE for officially signing him. They're not likely not going to use that name.
Yeah, they probably won't use his real name either, but they'll come up
Blake
with something.
Christian Hubble.
Yeah.
I hope they keep the name Blake at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. I gave it to Daniel Bryan, because in his match they continue the continuity of the knee. A lot of guys will just forget it. They continued the continuity of the knee injury. Okay.
Why didn't he die after one move?
No. We're gonna move on to our worst of the night. Headphone users before warning. Nuclear heat warning. Just let it run through for a sec. Okay, so this is the first time this has been used in a while. I will give it a quick rundown. That sound, and if you are watching the video cast, the banner states this is a nuclear heat warning. We pull this out when we have some strong opinions on, whatever it may be, the news, the results, predictions going forward, stuff like that, that may or may not cause heat. Heat is a term used when, people are basically angry about a situation, normally backstage in the wrestling business. So this is our nuclear heat warning. And why are we giving it to the worst of the night? Because this show was a steaming hot fucking pile of trash.
Yeah, if we thought Impact Wrestling's show was bad a couple weeks ago, this is literally them looking at what Impact did and went, what can we do worse?
Yeah.
I have nothing nice to say about this. The Bianca Belair match, if we got any build with any other champion, I might have cared about this segment.
Okay. So let's in a sense, we've given it a nuclear heat warning. We're on our worst of the night. Let's kind of run through without sticking on one thing too long. But this is nuclear heat, so this is going to be strong opinions. We've already given our issues with the opening segment because it fucking blew chunks. Edge bitching to management was a fucking joke. Now, the tag match, the Mysterios versus Otis and Gable. I gave it to the match of the night purely because it was continuity, and we didn't get a match last week. We got a match, air quotes, this week, because it was a match. They gave them a bit longer, and it's what should have happened last week. And then, the only difference is after the match, they should have done the heel turn that they did last week. They shouldn't have ended the match last week. So I gave it the match of the night. But beyond that, there was no fucking point to have the same match just there's that. There's that. Apollo Crews. I didn't give a shit about the promo. I don't understand why they had him slip into the accent, and I hope to God it's not a thing going forward.
I'm not even going to state my opinion on the
No,
accent.
no. It honestly, what it reminded me of was when they had Kofi Kingston trying to do a Jamaican accent, and how awful that was. But easy as that.
Yeah.
The start of the match was a joke. This is just going to be a thing for Apollo from now on. He's just going to be trying to throw stairs at people because, and the
He's
match.
going to have a stairs match like Big Show and whoever, Mark Henry.
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. We're going to have Apollo versus Big E at WrestleMania in a stairs match.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Yeah. I want to know. Oh my God. Can we stop reviewing WWE? Oh my God. Like,
can we just stop reviewing SmackDown matches and stuff? Like,
but that means that we're gonna have to watch SmackDown shit. Do we just stop it on the pay-per-views? If it's a SmackDown match, we just stop reviewing it on the pay-per-views too?
We stop reviewing it and something from SmackDown happened.
Okay. Let's keep moving here. Heyman informs Reigns about the stipulation that was made 30 minutes ago. Watch the fucking show you are champion of.
Wasn't he walking by them when, like, because he would have been leaving, right? So
he should have been.
Wasn't that pretty much hard? Like, cause that wasn't an office they're in. That's the interview space where, wasn't it? Or maybe they were
in the office. They were in the office.
Okay, well.
But the thing is, as champion and with stuff going on, should you not, maybe even go back a little bit and watch, and even if skip, anyways, the same shit we've had for the women's division on this brand for weeks now. Just throw in there. Nothing happened. Like, nothing said. The match had really no implications for anything. And go figure, Liv Morgan takes the pin again because, you've got somebody that the fans actually like. Why the fuck do something with them?
They give him a chance, but whatever.
Yeah. What was the point of us going through this whole fucking hashtag thing years ago? And this is not me saying the women don't deserve it. This is me bitching about what they've been given. You have such a talented women's roster across your 3 brands, and you have made a joke of them on 2 out of the 3 fucking brands. I'm sorry. Looking at the 4 women in this match, okay? If I can go through, let's take away the match. You've got Natalya, who is a fucking veteran. Alongside Tamina, if we're talking about veterans, you're talking 2 daughters of, irregardless of the people behind them. Like let's take that away for a minute. The wrestlers,
2 fantastic performers.
The wrestlers in the ring, two of the best legends. 2 people that built pro fucking wrestling. And you've got them who, I'm sorry, they are both talented. They're veterans. They're really good. You got 2 up-and-comers. Liv Morgan is fantastic. Ruby Riott is doing a really good job. She's just got to find her spot. I'm not even going to shit on Ruby Riott here. Ruby Riott could be a contender here. Liv Morgan,
she was out that. She was there. I forgot.
Like, that's just it. Liv Morgan, they literally did this whole documentary. If you haven't watched Liv Morgan's documentary on the network yet, do it. I am such a huge fan of Liv Morgan. It's not funny. And this pissed me off.
Oh, I agree.
This is how heated I am. I'm not doing this. This isn't for show. I am so fucking pissed off. It's the same reason I keep getting mad. Here's the thing. I keep getting mad at AEW for it too. Give these women the spotlight.
Yes. Oh, but they did it at Mania a few years ago. It's fine.
Okay, so we have to wait another 35 years for us to give a shit about the women?
Yeah, they gotta go through another revolution.
I still think it's shitty that we haven't had a second women's only pay-per-view. I'm sorry, the fucking Evolution pay-per-view, I don't care, it was fantastic. I loved that it got to showcase the women for a night. That was the showcase, especially because they've been so underutilized for literally eternity in pro wrestling. And they haven't given them a second one. And we're only getting 1 or 2 matches on the pay-per-views. 90% of the time the matches don't matter.
Well,
Like,
continuing on with the women's, the next segment we got,
oh
we have
my God.
Bianca Belair, who we have, in contrast to what Edge has been doing, he has mentioned and visited every single world champion inside of WWE.
Yes, he has visited. I'm not even gonna make the joke here. I make the joke all the time with the 27 title. I'm gonna leave that out here in this warning.
No, this is all seriousness.
That's a running gag. I love doing it. But he has made it known to Drew McIntyre and even the Miz with the Money in the Bank contract.
Mhm.
Miz wasn't even the world champion. He made it evident to the Miz, like, watch it.
Yeah, if you cash in, that's you then. That is me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he went to NXT to Finn Balor and Pete Dunne, and he was like, "I'm looking forward to seeing this, but just remember who I
here.
am."
Yeah.
And
Like,
then
it's just,
SmackDown. Sure, the focus has heavily been on SmackDown for the last 2 weeks, but the thing
as
is,
much as I wanted it to not be.
he still went across. Belair
Yeah.
showed up on Raw in a backstage interview, and I think that was the extent of it. She's been on SmackDown the rest of the time with Sasha. There literally hasn't been a mention of probably one of the greatest female wrestlers in the company, Io Shirai.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a disservice to fucking Io Shirai.
They're somehow shoehorning Carmella into this story
With
as
Reginald.
well
Yeah,
with Reginald.
what the fuck is this shit?
Well, I can only imagine this match turns into a triple threat at WrestleMania.
Okay. Um,
But to even go on from that, like, I had no care in when she picked her person. When Edge speared Roman, at the very least, I was like, well, that's at least a cool moment. They were dancing side
They
by
were
side.
dancing, smiling. No, your fucking opponent's at Mania now. She is coming for your goddamn title. Fucking act like it means something.
Yeah, like this is ridiculous at this point. Like, you are two serious competitors for a world title
I'm sorry.
inside
I'm
of
sorry.
a globally recognized company.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you were making a point, and it just popped into my head. Okay, we've made it evident we're not huge fans of Bianca Belair and her character and whatnot. Like we've said, maybe it's the fact that we missed the NXT stuff and it's not clicking for us. Like like that's the thing. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. And if that's the case, then I'm upset I missed the NXT stuff. But let's take away that for a second though. What is Bianca's character? She is the EST, which is, the strongest, the fastest, all that stuff. But yet the thing is she just declared Sasha Banks her opponent for WrestleMania, and it was laughs and giggles and dancing.
Well,
How am I supposed to believe that you are this EST when something so serious like that was a fucking joke to the both of you?
it was absolutely ridiculous to
Get face
see.
to face. Make me feel something. Make me feel like you are a legitimate contender to Sasha Banks. Sasha, make me feel like you are the champion and you are ready to defend your ground.
Who we've had friends face each other at Mania for titles because of a Rumble, and I just can't pinpoint who it is.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's stuff. I'm heated right now. I'm not entirely sure. Like it doesn't even have to be a matter of they have to be a heel face or something like that, but they both
We've
have to
had double
realize.
faces.
Yeah, they both have to realize that this is for the title. This is your make or break moment. This is WrestleMania.
My best one I can remember is Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Neither man was a heel.
They were
Neither man was
there was
was
a
bad guy,
there was a common mutual respect between the two,
and they
but they
acknowledged it.
but they both had something to prove. And that's exactly
Yes.
what this should be. Neither one
Yeah,
has to be the dastardly heel. They can both stay where they're at. They can both stay like, I don't have beef with you, but I'm here to prove you only get so many WrestleMania moments if you get any in your career.
absolutely.
Why are you making a mockery of this one?
Anyone who is arguing saying, "Oh, well, you're just saying that because you're comparing it to Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels," take that match that I suggested, put that with any other person that is face versus face at WrestleMania. I care more about that match than this match.
Yeah.
I cared more about John Cena versus Bray Wyatt for the US title. John Cena versus Rusev, sorry, for the US title at Mania than I do this match. And that match was made the week of WrestleMania.
So we had the possibility tonight. Obviously, it's no longer there from the looks of it. For Daniel Bryan versus Edge, there was not going to be a heel in that situation. They weren't turning Bryan heel, and they sure as hell weren't turning Edge heel because this is the feel good return story, which I'm okay with. But
For both.
the difference is Edge made it clear to Bryan, if you are holding that title, you are in my way.
Yeah.
There's no
Exactly.
heel, there's no disrespect, there's a common mutual respect, but you've got to realize you're holding the title and I want to be champion.
Yeah. And now, not only, well, I mean, we already knew the women's titles were jokes inside of WWE,
For
but not
some
only does
reason.
that confirm this, but it just sets it in stone so much, and we thought we were done from it. Well, and I think there's a moment where I can't remember why I said it, but the world title, there was a point at this show where I was able to point out that the universal title is not on the same level as the world heavyweight championship.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it's the fact that it was being put into a tag team match at Fastlane, that it
Ah,
was going to be a
yes.
bigger draw than a world title match. And I mean,
Yeah.
we had a bit of a debate about it. There is points on both sides, but it is definitely a matter of you know, if the WWE title was in a tag team match, people would be annoyed about it.
Mhm. But they don't care because Roman Reigns. So my point is, if the so we're gonna stick to the women's match. We'll talk more about this what I guess later. If we're supposed to care about title matches, don't have the two people competing against it be so friendly with each other. I guess since we're looking like Banks is kind of gonna be the heel in this situation, how about we have her turn heel right then and there? As soon as it's confirmed, Banks is looking this way, take title off, smash her over the head.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a hard time booking double face or something like that, or a common mutual respect or something, then turn one heel. Because
And
obviously
we
you
know
guys
Banks can be a
cannot,
great heel.
yeah, you guys cannot book this storyline, Belair and Banks. You've proved it that you can't book it double face from what you've already
I
shown us. So turn her heel, turn Banks full on heel, and make me care about the match because I fucking don't.
absolutely. Yeah, there and until SmackDown is able to make me care about this, I won't make my wrestler of the night a cameraman that isn't actually a wrestler on the show.
Yeah. Um, Talking about the cameraman and talking about shit I don't
Yeah,
care about, Street Profits versus Corbin and Zayn. Why are you throwing Corbin and Zayn together? Put Corbin.
Corbin literally asked that himself.
First off, take Corbin out of this fucking King Corbin gimmick. Make him Baron Corbin again and make me care. I'm sorry, Baron Corbin is a great athlete. He can play a very, very good heel. So why not let him? Don't give him Constable Corbin. That was bullshit. If we would have had Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania and actually given them time, that's something Kurt Angle's bitched about recently, which I agree with. If you would have given us that, that would have fucking killed it. But we got Constable Corbin, which was bullshit. Now you got King Corbin. Make him a serious threat like he is. He is a big guy. He can move. He can wrestle. He's a fucking, what is that, Golden Gloves champion or whatever, right? Like,
Golden Gloves boxer. I was just about to mention that.
are we fucking serious here? You've got Sami Zayn, one of the best fucking performers. I'm sorry, you don't know what Sami Zayn can do? Do yourself a favor, go and watch Kevin Steen versus El Generico, the 40 fucking matches that they've had in the past, and you come back and tell me that he is not a good wrestler, and I will show you a million spots in the match where he is one of the best.
We aren't wrestlers, but we have watched so much good wrestling. I don't know if you can even hear me right now because
Yep.
my thing totally
Yeah.
froze for a sec
Yeah,
there.
you were good.
We have watched so much wrestling that we can pinpoint. I hate to sound cocky. I'm confident that I have watched more wrestling than 90% of the wrestling fans I have talked to in the past.
Okay, so just to piggyback, not to stay on it for too long, I can guarantee you, since the age of 6 when I discovered pro wrestling has literally, when I say it has encapsulated my life, it has. If I wasn't playing a wrestling game, I was probably watching wrestling. If I wasn't watching wrestling, there's a good chance as a kid, my friends were over and, don't try this at home, but we were fucking trying it at home because that is how much we were into this. As a kid, my life was pro wrestling. As an adult, my life has continued to be pro wrestling. I have sunk thousands of dollars into DVDs, games, subscriptions, merchandise. I literally have $1,000. Not trying to gloat. I'll let Blake get his headphones back on. Blake just got up.
That I don't just shit on WWE.
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm gonna take my headphones off too, and we'll make a
because
here.
I've spent so much money on this thing because I love this company that I want stuff like this. I want to win this belt, even though I don't care about what's going on. I want to win this belt to make people care about it.
So, I was just making the point as you took your headphones off. I'm not meaning to gloat, but when I say I've spent so much money, okay, no gloating here. I'm just making a point. This is literally over $1,000. I'm sorry, $1,000 is not a small amount of money. This is $1,000 worth of stuff. I have pop figures of wrestling. I have merchandise. I have shirts. Let's go into fucking tickets. I have put thousands of dollars into tickets to pro wrestling, not just independent shows, not just other companies, but WWE. Some of my fondest memories are of WWE. We're sitting here, we're shitting on this, but people have to understand this company is the reason I am a pro wrestling fan.
We're so annoyed because we are so invested. We're invested enough in this company to make a podcast about it. Yes, there's AEW and Impact Wrestling, but if you noticed, we cover 3 WWE shows
a week.
We can't say it enough. They are the biggest wrestling company, and they put on a joke. I'm actually upset about what has happened.
Here's a fun fact for everybody. I do go back on my nights off. I'm not saying every time I have a night off or an afternoon or something that I watch WWE. I go back. I've bought the AEW pay-per-views through Fight. I've watched stuff like the first Double or Nothing probably 6-7 times. But 9 out of 10 times, if I have a night off, I have the WWE Network. I go back and I watch the current documentaries. I watch some old stuff. I still encapsulate my life with WWE. WWE, they're swapping the network over to Peacock in the States. If that affects my viewing living here in Canada, I'm literally gonna cancel my subscription and I'm going to go out of my way to VPN to get the network again, because that is how much this business, this company, this industry, that is how
Like,
much it means to me. Like, people need to understand, if you are watching, if you are listening to us, when it says in our description, like on Twitch, we've got a bubble at the bottom that I did up here, and it literally says we are two lifelong pro wrestling fans. We are not casual. We are not here, there. This is my life. If somebody were to ever offer me the opportunity, I want to be a pro wrestler. I've never wanted anything more in my life. Every roadblock I've ever hit in my life has always come back around to the one thing I want to do with my life, which is be a pro wrestler. That is how much I love this stuff.
when I dropped out of college last year, literally last year around this time, the one thing I could always go back to was watching wrestling. I could come to over to your place and we could watch wrestling. And then all of a sudden the COVID pandemic was going to take that away from us. We weren't sure if we were going to get week to week wrestling anymore.
To
And that broke me. Again, I was sitting in a point where the one thing that was keeping me going and keeping me sane was about to be ripped from me because of COVID. And thank God for Vince McMahon for figuring it out and for
See,
Tony
we
Khan.
don't we do not shit on Vince McMahon. I am so happy they made it work. Sure,
Yes.
stuff happened in the period. Sure, stuff should have, more stuff should have happened, but we got pro wrestling. You speaking of it, if you've ever struggled with mental health in your life, you understand, almost everybody has. If you haven't, you are very lucky. As somebody who has struggled with mental health for, 90% of my adult life, the one thing that no matter what kind of a mood I'm in, I can sit and watch and it takes me away is pro wrestling. You talking about when
Yes.
COVID hit. I actually, straight up being honest, because mental health is something that can be discussed. I literally, we 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 had a show. The world shut down the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had a show that following Friday that we were trying to figure out if we were going to go to. The only reason we hadn't bought tickets was because this COVID situation was worsening. We wanted to see where it was at. Everything shut down the weekend prior. I
Yeah.
literally, because not knowing whether we were going to have wrestling, they were trying to figure out if we were going to have Raw and SmackDown. They were trying to figure out if we were going to have an AEW. And AEW was, still is one of my favorite things. It's got some of my favorite people in pro wrestling right now. I literally had a nervous breakdown in my apartment because I was like, the one thing that I love to no end, it is being stripped away because of this. There's hours and hours and hours of content, but the
Yeah.
the thought of going weeks, months without, having this stuff to look forward to
Yeah. Well, and
literally tore me apart.
yeah, you can call us crybabies and whatever, especially because we are sitting here again shitting on this show. But we feel this passionate about this show, and we think that, like, I get it. Some people probably can find a silver lining to this show. To me, as a lifelong wrestling fan, this did no service to any storyline that was going. I get it. If you're a casual wrestling fan, you look at this match. Oh, there was some competitive matches for sure. Why were they there?
I I have watched wrestling for so long, and I've seen some of the worst stuff.
We
And
lived through the Katie Vick
oh
stuff.
god, oh my god,
Just to put that out there, like, we didn't necessarily watch it at the right time, but we lived through it
I've
because
I've
it was
watched
still
it.
referenced.
I've watched it since. If I didn't see it live, I've watched it since. Like, we've seen some of the worst stuff. This show, they are coming into WrestleMania. Like, out of all the time of the year for this to happen,
Technically, they're coming into Fastlane, but they are always building towards WrestleMania at
we're
this
on the
point.
road to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
we've literally got, okay, on this card,
We're
we've
in the fast lane to WrestleMania if you
yeah,
want to play into WWE's wording there.
ugh, we've literally got, two people on this show that were never supposed to wrestle again. Two of the greatest of all time that had their careers cut short due to injury, and they are back. And the one which is literally like, not to take away from Brian's was like a story, but Edge's was this miracle story of it all, you know. Like I said, not to try and take away from Brian, but you had him whining and bitching. You had Daniel Bryan, who you're talking another miracle story. This was his life as well as Edge, and we're
Yeah,
getting bullshit thrown at us for it.
that's just it. Like, we love Edge, and we literally saw him bitch and moan about stuff that he's done.
I I talked about it before. I love Edge, the wrestler, the character, everything. I'm such an edge head. You know, you wanna be specific about it. I'm such an edge head. I mentioned it. He tossed Orton over that top rope at the Rumble, and I had, one of my best friends, Mitchell, common friend of ours, here. I had my niece here watching. His girlfriend was here, and I literally broke down and sobbed. That is what this this industry means to me. That's what Edge's win. That's how big of an edgehead I was. I literally broke down sobbing because it was this story. It was so amazing.
Yeah,
And this is what we got this week. Like, you've got to be
exactly.
fucking kidding me.
Like, to continue on, so we had that. We were on the Street Profits match there. So that was, why did that exist? We had Corbin, who was an amazing competitor, and Zayn, who's an amazing competitor,
Not to take
and
away
the
from the
Street
Street
Profits,
Profits. Like,
who are amazing competitors.
and let's make another point. Who are the tag team champions right now? Dolph Ziggler, who has worked his fucking ass off for how many years? And
Yeah.
he's in random tag teams winning random tag titles. This man should have been the main fucking event for so long. And then you've got Robert Roode, Bobby Roode. I'm sorry. Can we go back a few years to NXT, where he was literally the hottest fucking thing in pro wrestling? The fact
The
that,
glorious one.
I'm sorry, very rarely do you have fans so into you that they are going to go out of their way to sing your entrance theme. They're, you
When
know,
they see you, not even just like when your music is playing, when they see the person.
yeah, like we've got Chris Jericho right now. Chris Jericho is the big one right now that you can say. Like, uh
And it's happened to other people. Like,
yeah,
Angles had variants of it, like
yep.
the "you suck" and
Yeah,
whatever.
and even
Like,
if you want to get specific about it, like somebody like Finn Balor, it wasn't a singing along, but Finn had the lights and the da da ha, and
and
you could put a camera, a wide angle camera, over top of an arena, and if there wasn't a person doing it, there was a
or
very
making
specific
the
reason.
yeah, or
Because,
making the noise the same sound that the sound, like singing along almost.
yeah, yeah, like,
Like,
I
it's
just
just
you have these two guys in a random fucking tag team with the tag titles in such a weird spot. They haven't actually had a prominent spot on the show in fucking weeks. Their tag title win, I I I couldn't even tell you when it was. That's how little I cared about it, which is sad.
check. Um,
But I just
uh,
I I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And we're gonna move on to the next bit here. We've only got a few more spots to hit. We're gonna do our
so
predictions,
rant
and we're
on.
gonna we're gonna we're gonna wrap up. We should be done probably within about 20 to 30 minutes. As a quick note to anybody listening, we're going to try to shorten up the podcast a bit, and we are working on our off time. We're going to actually update and revise our format here to try and make it a better show for everybody listening going forward. And as this stuff changes, we will have announcements for everybody to know what is going on. Just to take a brief moment away, take a breather, and just let everybody know. Like, we care about this podcast, we care about building a
Yeah.
community, and we care about pro wrestling. Sorry,
Yes.
Blake. When did they win it?
They won it on January 8th, 2021.
Oh, they won it this year.
Well, we have been covering it. I thought it was.
Cool. Okay. Um, but let's move on here. We have the Daniel Bryan and Edge promo.
And I'd say I cared the most about this,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I didn't even really care about
Nope.
it.
I I
And
don't.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it. But let's move on to the Seth Rollins one, because there's really nothing more we can say about that one that
No.
we haven't really already said.
So Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
We want to talk about competitors again. This gimmick
And
maybe.
Cesaro.
Well, we're gonna get to Cesaro,
Yeah.
but Seth Rollins, this gimmick, like, yes, it is the very obvious route that they take when somebody's coming back to put them the route with something that's generally happened in recent memory. He just had a kid, have him come back as a babyface. It was the route we all figured they were going, and they didn't. But the thing is they're not doing anything to make me care about this character. I'm sorry, his heel stuff to me only ever fully really worked when he was within the Authority, because that
Yeah.
was the heel he needed to be. This heel doesn't work. In the Authority, the heel he got to hide behind literally the authority figures of
Yeah,
WWE. He had
exactly.
Goonies to go out for him and handle his dirty work. That's what this character is trying to be, with a different fucking, coat of paint
Because
on it.
authority figures don't exist in the WWE anymore.
Yeah, like, it's just got a different coat of paint on it, but and it's just not working. And then we have Cesaro, who, I mean, you want to talk about the absolute most underrated. I shouldn't even say underrated, most underutilized, because 90% of people know how fucking good
Oh yeah,
Cesaro
no, they
is.
know how good he is. They just refuse to do anything with it. The best run he's had is the bar.
The Bar, people were so mad at the beginning, and him and Sheamus, you want to talk about another guy, even though he's gotten world title reigns, Sheamus should have been more. He really should have been. You want to talk about two guys who took, you know, shit basically, because it seemed like they didn't have anything planned for them really, and they
Yeah.
turned it into gold. They were actually, as crazy as it sounds, one of the WWE live events I went to. I actually got so excited when I saw the Bar announced, because I had
Yeah.
never seen Cesaro live, and I was excited that I got to see it during the Bar era.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was his peak. Right now. I hope it's not.
Exactly. But I just,
Okay. So we get Cesaro, right? And that's we didn't get a match for him, but we give a match to Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso, an amazing
Jay.
tag team competitor.
Yeah, not saying that, just because, it's him and his brother that he can't be a singles guy, but I don't
But
know. They've got such potential,
to
and
end this in a no contest,
yeah, like I mean,
or I guess double count out, same thing.
we've already sung Daniel Bryan's praises and shit too. Like,
Yeah, so let's talk about Jey Uso. Part of probably one of the best tag teams WWE has ever produced.
like,
One of the most gifted men on
you want
the
to see,
roster.
like, here's my thing. You want to see probably one of, in my opinion, the greatest tag team feuds in history, and these guys made it work. When you look at it in writing, it should have never worked. You had the New Day and the Usos. I'm sorry, you had
Not the face Usos, the heel ones.
heel Usos along with the New Day. I'm sorry, I'm a huge fan of the New Day. I absolutely love the New Day.
New Day rocks.
But how much of a comedy thing are they? Like, even though they're serious, they're tag champs and stuff like that. The New Day is comedy. Comedy.
One of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches.
They fucking killed it, man. I have seen every Hell in a Cell match WWE has ever produced, and it ranks near the top. And I don't think I have many Hell in a Cell matches in the past 5-ish years or so, really since they made it its own gimmick pay-per-view, I don't have many matches that I'd be like, this is, in my top.
And since they painted it red, I have one that I can think of I liked.
Yeah, but they absolutely tore the house down, the New Day and the Usos. And it was both sides. You cannot sit here and go, oh, well, you got to give all the credit to the New Day, or oh, you got to give all the credit to the Usos. All those guys worked their tails off to make it what it was.
And they made it believable. You had the Usos talking about the Uso penitentiary. You had the New Day saying, well, yeah, well, we might be this joke team, but just you wait. When we really need to, we come in big.
Yeah.
Like now in contrast, you have him in a potential spot where he's not necessarily in a tag team, but you could have him going for Big E's title.
Yep. Yep. You could be giving him a somewhat prominent spot. Like,
Because we
I
know they're
don't
going to
get
be a
it.
tag team again whenever Jimmy comes back. We know that's going to happen 100%. Why not give him a singles run? We did it with Jeff and Matt.
Yeah.
We split them up. We've done it.
Yeah, but don't give him a singles run in this. Give him a meaningful singles run and then pair them back up, and then, or even have Jimmy come back, keep them apart for another year, let them do their own things, and then bring the
Have
Usos
Jimmy
back
re-debut on
together.
Raw. Like,
Have the Usos come back together and make us care. Like, I just
yeah. But
and then
to have this end in no contest is
and then
just...
to finish off this show, not just even the no contest, but the fact that Reigns comes out and basically tries to kill Daniel Bryan, and then we see no sign of Edge.
Well, he's the ultimate opportunist. He doesn't want the potential competitor for the title to have a shot. Like,
Okay, but the
I'm
thing is, if we get Edge and Bryan versus Reigns and Jay, if I was Daniel Bryan, I'd be beyond pissed off.
yeah.
Like, this is a potential match. You saw it was a no contest, so you should know that this is a match that's happening. Why wouldn't you come out and help me?
Yep.
But I don't know. Are we good to take this nuclear heat warning off?
I don't know. Are we?
I think we are. We got a really good rant out, and
We should probably change the title of this episode to ranting because we've done it for more than a half hour, I think.
yeah. Well, we'll close the nuke heat. We'll open up our predictions banner here for the video viewers. Um, thank you to anybody who just listened to that absolute rant and actually gave a shit,
We
because
apologize. Like,
we just we care so much about this product across all brands. I might be really heavily into AEW right now, but it doesn't mean I don't care about WWE. WWE, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be a pro wrestling fan. They are, I watched WWE solely for a long time. I found Impact Wrestling, a little ways in. I watched, and it was TNA at the time. I've watched other stuff since,
I
but
literally only know of Impact Wrestling / TNA because of Jeff Hardy.
and you know why Jeff Hardy's a name?
Because of WWE, I guess you could say WCW like had him for a little while before WWE.
WCW never had Jeff.
Well, I thought that they did for a little bit. Or no, it was Edge, sorry.
Nope, I don't think so.
Wasn't it one of the tag teams, one of them was on WCW for like a jobber role for a little bit.
I know
I know
the
Matt and Jeff ran jobber roles for like Razor and stuff like that inside of WWE.
yeah, yeah. Um,
But I'm pretty sure Adam Copeland wrestled for WCW.
Edge, WWF. Yeah, the local independent stuff in his early career, Canada Day, Sexton Hardcastle, whatever independent career. He won some kind of. He was on an episode of WCW Pro. On an episode.
Okay. Sorry. So yeah, I knew about the one episode then. But yeah. So like still we have these guys yeah. We're just
So,
yeah, I don't care
like,
anymore.
I just we care so much. I've watched even when I've fallen out of WWE, I'm not gonna lie, I fell out of WWE for probably a solid year, and I watched very little of it. But
But I
you can be
still
damn sure
lines.
I I watched clips. I watched
Yeah,
Mania. I would watch pay-per-views. I would watch even if I wasn't watching the weekly shows, if I knew a pay-per-view was really good or I saw the card for it. There was ones I had no clue what the storylines were, but I would see the card the year I fell out of it and I went, "Oh shit." And I'd watch it. And
yeah,
I've since gone back since I've missed that year and I've recapped that year. I've watched a lot of the stuff I missed from that year. Obviously, I haven't caught every show, but I caught
right.
all the important stuff from the year I missed because I love this business.
Yeah, and like I had the exact same issue, but when I fell out of WWE, I fell into TNA.
Yeah, that's
Like
exactly what I when I fell out of WWE, I found TNA and New Japan.
I see I didn't find New Japan until basically when I met you.
Yeah, I
Which means I
found
didn't really know the Bucks as anything except for Gen Me until I met you.
yeah, but like I fell into New Japan. I found the likes of Fergal Devitt, Prince Devitt, who, ends up being Finn Balor, one of my favorites. Like, I say one of my
Shinsuke
favorites,
Nakamura.
Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, I say one of my favorites. My list of favorites is like 300 long. Like,
You know the Wrestling 100 Pro list or whatever it's called, like the
yeah,
top 100. I yeah, that is basically my favorite wrestling because I love every wrestler. I've cheered for almost every wrestler at some point. I can imagine, but never mind. Uh, but
breathe.
and it's just yeah, it's just difficult for us to have these kind of stories to see them going this way and we're like why.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So thanks for sticking around through that rant,
Yes,
and
yeah, we
hopefully
apologize.
hopefully there are other people out there who feel the same way and stuff like that.
And
um
like we say, if you loved SmackDown this week, private message us on Twitter, tell
Tell
us
us
why.
why. We would
Let us,
love to know. Like that's the thing, just because if we sit here and say we don't like a segment or we shit on a show or something like that, that's the most wonderful thing about pro wrestling, is what one person might not like, the other person may. We have had on this podcast, in the short life it's had so far, where my worst of the night was your best of the night, or your best of, or my best of the night was your worst of the night. People have opposing views. We're all allowed to. That is the wonderful thing about pro wrestling. I mean, it as much as it's the wonderful thing about pro wrestling, it's why the online internet pro wrestling community is so toxic.
again why this channel exists.
Yeah, like
Like
I'm
the boards are so bad that we think our voice needs to be heard as well. Like
yeah,
we want to try to be that voice of good inside of wrestling.
like
I know that sounds rich from two Canadian boys who haven't stepped foot in a ring competitively. We want to see the best of all wrestling that has to offer anywhere in the world. I'm even talking about like UFC. I don't mind watching some
no,
UFC. I watched I watched the Conor McGregor fights. I watched a lot of the Khabib fights. I
I
am just
I used to watch UFC religiously along with my pro wrestling stuff.
exactly like we aren't just wrestling fans, we're combat sport fans, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I love this kind of stuff. I can't like I can't express it enough. Like it's just
The
it's
the
so
people who
annoying.
get it
Yeah.
get it. If you don't quite know, then I don't know what we could say to make you understand.
Yeah,
But
we're not trying to be this opinionated. We
we
really aren't.
there's a reason we cover as many shows as we can, and if we could cover more, we would. This isn't at this point a full-time job. This is not paying our bills. If it ever would, you can be damn sure that any amount of pro wrestling that is out there, we would be watching and doing a review for.
I'm pretty
Right?
sure New Japan just ran their show tonight as well.
Yeah, like we watch just about as much as we possibly can while still giving ourselves a little bit of free time. And like that's why we cover Impact, that's why we cover WWE, that's why we cover Dynamite. And the thing is it shows that you can like all the stuff, you can like certain things. If you like AEW and you can't stand WWE at the moment, just like AEW. Don't hate the people who like WWE. If it's the opposite way around, just enjoy your WWE. Don't worry about the AEW fans.
Yeah, what the AEW fans are doing, even if they are taking shots at WWE, what does that have to do with what you as a fan enjoy? If you don't like what Caleb and I are saying on this podcast, as much as it sounds kind of rich from us having no viewers really, don't watch.
Yeah, everybody is allowed an opinion when it comes to professional wrestling. That's why, like,
Yeah.
you are allowed your opinion,
Yeah,
but there's no reason that pro wrestling has to be a toxic space.
exactly. We want to voice our opinions in as what can I say? So we want to be able to have open discussions with anybody about
100%.
pro wrestling. If somebody were to come on like tonight, if somebody messages us and says on our next podcast they would like to talk to us about why SmackDown has actually been good, I welcome that.
I would love something like that because I love the open discussion. I love
Yeah,
the idea of open discussion, and that's just it. Like we said on Twitter, tweet, private message, whatever, if you have a reason that SmackDown was good, and by all means we'll read we'll bring it up in the next podcast. We'll do what we can because we're not
if it's
sitting
really a
here.
worth talk point, we'll probably end up with you on the show if it's a great enough talk point.
Yeah. Like
I don't want to speak for Caleb here, but like if it's something we feel we could
yep.
debate with you on, that'll probably be good content.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Like
you know, so but anyways,
anyway,
we
with our news segments and stuff like that, we're on Twitter and stuff, so this is a continuation. Message us about our news segments and stuff like that as well. It helps us with every little part of this podcast. We
yeah,
want this podcast to be for wrestling fans by wrestling fans.
that's
We will
literally our
change
tagline.
exactly. We will change we are doing if you guys say what we're doing isn't quite working, if you think, oh, we need to do this or we need to do that, we will update what with the times. We are absolutely listening and have our ears to the ground on everything, but we can only hear so much. So tweet us, message us, do anything, keep us in the loop on any wrestling news at all over at Walking the Ropes. Pretty much everywhere, but if you really need to find it, it's at the link tree.
Yep. Yeah, literally everything is through the link tree. So to finish the show up here within the next 5 minutes or so, actually one of our shorter shows yet, which this will be a
Yeah.
continuing thing actually. Tonight's show, if it didn't require the rant, would have probably been around an hour, which is generally for a lot of the shows. The aim, like we said, we will be updating over the next few weeks of our plans that we are looking to implement probably post Mania without making
And our
any
formatting and
yeah,
stuff.
without making any big changes prior to Mania, because Mania is such a crazy time, anyways. Um, but stay up to date with us. But predictions, wrestling free weekend in a pay per view sense. Even though I'm probably gonna sit and watch, uh, quite a few different things this weekend, pro wrestling related.
I have a lot to watch pro wrestling related this weekend, but none of it's live. Um, it's just my predictions going forward here. Ah, well, Miz is gonna lose his championship
Miz loses
on
Monday.
Raw.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't think we see Drew.
Nope.
And if we do, I'll be kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Because and I know a lot of fans complained that Drew didn't show up. They're like, "Oh, well, why wouldn't he?" I was like, "Why would he?"
And then I praised it. I even gave him like a performer of the night in a sense on that podcast because I liked it so much that he wasn't on it because it fed the story.
Yeah, even if it's just he's not nursing injuries, he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't wanna be anywhere near this wrestling company because he feels robbed of his title or whatever. I don't care. Keep him off the show for the rest of the fucking month until Fastlane.
Well, that's what I said. Have him come back at Fastlane. Screw the Miz over, because I can only assume we're getting the rematch. Which I say it in that tone. It made me sound like I was complaining. Go and watch our Raw review, even just the end bits with me saying how much I'm excited for it. I'm just drained after ranting.
Yeah, if exactly.
But
For
yeah,
Impact, we are likely getting the inclusion of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship into the
yep.
No Surrender
That's
match.
that's generally the idea. And obviously we're gonna give our predictions through the week next week too, so don't take these as
Yes.
solid. They'll change as we know. I think that's gonna be really the biggest thing from Impact.
Yeah, as
Um
far as that goes, AEW and NXT is probably just gonna be slow builds for their well, actually, no. We have the
AEW's
special show for
AEW's going to be no pun intended dynamite. Like it's
it
going
yeah.
like we've got some big matches. Paul
They're
White's
calling it the
supposed to be there.
Crossroads?
Yep. Paul White's supposed to be there. We've got Shaq in the ring finally. However you feel about that, it's going to be something to watch to
I'm interested
find
to see
out.
what his gear will be.
As well as the in-ring debut of Jade Cargill, who I hope is an absolute fantastic performer,
She
having not
looks
seen
stunning,
anything. Yeah. Like
like
like if she
and I'm
is
meaning, like, ripped, not,
oh
like,
yeah. Oh
in
yeah.
any
But like if she's able to come in and absolutely just do what she's been promoting herself to be able to do, I'm going to be so happy.
yeah.
NXT was it announced that we get Io and Tony this week? Do you
No, I think it
know?
was next week, I thought that we were getting it.
We get the women's tag titles, and the tag titles are going to their rightful home with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. We are not getting the tag team title match, the men's.
If that's the case, then Dakota and Raquel have to defend against Lana and Naomi.
Good, and I can't wait for Raquel to destroy them. Taking nothing away from Lana and Naomi, but Raquel and Dakota deserve this. Um,
Oh, I'm worried
I want
now.
more Adam Cole build. I want that
Yeah,
that bastard. I want it. I mean, he's starting to prove why the Young Bucks killed him.
yeah, I likely will likely write off Caden Carter as well.
Yep,
Um, Going along with the storyline with Casey and all that, but I still think that ends with them joining at the end of it.
sure. And I
I
look forward
like
to seeing it.
if it doesn't like I'm probably reading this story really wrong, but I see it happening being this all woman faction.
Yep. And then to jump literally a week in advance here, next week's SmackDown. I mean, I have such a
I don't
sour
have any
taste.
predictions for it, so I'm not gonna say anything. I can't say anything.
The main thing is I hope that they give us a proper build for Cesaro Rollins because that's the way we're going. I hope they give us a proper build and
Oh,
make
they're
me
gonna
care.
swerve us and Rollins and Cesaro's just all of a sudden gonna be on Rollins' side next week.
No, no.
Yes.
Nope. I will not believe it. But
And I don't even mean like we're gonna get like Cesaro coming out and being like I was wrong. No, they're just gonna walk out together. No word said.
so well, with all that being said for this episode,
I
do you
sound petty there.
do you have anything else to add, Blake?
Thank you everyone for watching, for listening to us rant here. As we stated, with our news segments and stuff to keep us up to date. It helps our news segments work better. It helps everything run better. Um, and just yeah, if you need any more information or links, it's all in the link tree. And I assume, well, actually, yeah, it is. It's right at the bottom when you go in our Twitch description. I think it's called.
Yeah, the panel area, the about section, stuff like that. It's
Yes, it's actually linked twice, right at the start there, and
yep,
then in the actual link tree link spot.
yep. So yeah, with that all being said, with the link tree, you can find absolutely everywhere we're available, many podcast platforms, YouTube for the video VODs, live on Twitch multiple times a week. If we are not on a podcast platform that you listen on, which I mean, we're on so many, I'll be surprised if we're not. But if we're not, let us know. We will try and get on. We are all about getting ourselves out there. Um, and then yeah, you can find our social medias, and then if you want to and you are able to support us even further beyond that, which it is not needed one bit, even just your listens, your follows, your tweets, stuff like that mean the world to us. But if you are feeling generous, there are ways to support us, which are currently our Redbubble store, where there is the design of our new logo up on it. Which,
Yes.
as I keep saying, there are more to come, which there is. Obviously, it just takes time to get these designs done. As well as we have a tip page for a direct tip to us. Um, those are all in the link tree. That is where you find absolutely everything.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely. Yeah, the link tree is your most useful thing to find us on.
yeah. So, with all that being said, thank you for tuning into this edition of Walking the Ropes.
The next one will hopefully be less rant filled.
Let's hope. Let's hope. But this rant needed to happen at some point, and I guess this was the show to do it for.
I
So,
literally said we hadn't pressed the button in a while on the last show.
yeah. So there we were. So with that being said, thank you absolutely everybody for tuning in and supporting us thus far. We look forward to continuing to create this content going forward. And thank you for watching and listening. Take
We'll
care.
see you later.